Hello everyone. Let's begin with the topic of locomotion and movement. Before we start with the main concept, we need to know the basic difference between what is locomotion and what is movement. See, locomotion is the displacement of the entire body from one place to another. Okay, while movement is a temporary displacement, or you can also say it as temporary or permanent displacement of a body or its parts from its original position. Okay, now let's start with the concept of types of movement. Now there are three types of movement which is already stated here. One is amoeboid, second is ciliary, and third is muscular movement. The first movement that we have to come across is amoeboid movement. These are the movements that takes place in the phagocytes where leukocytes and macrophages migrate through tissue. Now what are phagocytes? These are a type of a cell that has the ability to ingest and sometimes digest the foreign materials, foreign particles. Like you can give an example as of dust, a dye, a bacteria, etc. Okay. The second one is ciliary movement. These are the movement that occurs in the internal organs which are lined by the ciliary epithelium. Okay, now ciliary is the process that produces aqueous humor, which is responsible for providing oxygen, nutrients, etc. Okay, which do not have their own blood supply. The third one is muscular movement. Now, these movements involve the muscle fibers which have the ability to contract and relax. Okay, now let's move to the types of muscles here. There are three types of muscles. The first one is known as skeletal muscle or striated muscles. The second one is visceral muscles or smooth muscles. The third one is cardiac muscles. Okay, now let's move into the detail. First one is skeletal muscle. These involved in locomotion and change of the body posture. Okay, these are also known as voluntary muscles. You can see the diagram given here. The first one, the skeletal muscle, wherein the diagram which is depicted is skeletal muscle here. The second one is visceral muscle or smooth muscles. It is in the inner wall of hollow visceral organ, smooth in appearance and hence the name smooth muscles, and their activity are not under control of the voluntary nervous system. Okay, so these are called as involuntary muscles. Involuntary, the word itself says what? The activity which cannot be controlled is termed as involuntary. Okay, so we term smooth muscle as involuntary as well. Okay, and the third and the last one is cardiac muscle. Now the cardiac itself is a word that relates with what? The heart. Correct. So the muscles of heart is the cardiac muscles and they are involuntary in nature. Yes, the activity of cardiac is involuntary, which cannot be controlled, right? So they're involuntary in nature, striated as well as that of the first one, which we already stated. Then these are uninucleated. Okay, so all the three types we have learned. Which are these? The first one is skeletal muscle, which is also termed as striated. The second is visceral and the third is cardiac. Now let's move with the third one, the next concept, that is structure of a myofibril. Okay. Now what is myofibril? See, these are also termed as muscle fibril. Okay, I repeat, these are also termed as muscle fibril. Now it is basically a rod-like structure of a muscle cell, and these are composed of many tubular cells which are known as myocytes. What is it termed as? Myocytes. Okay. Now let's go into the detail. These consist of alternate dark and light bands. Now when I'm saying when I'm explaining, you need to see the diagram as well simultaneously. Okay. So these consist of alternate dark and light bands. Now dark band contains a protein which is known as myosin protein. What is it termed as? Myosin protein, and is also called as A band or anisotrophic band. Okay, and the light band, it contains actin protein and is also known as I band or isotropic band. I repeat, the dark band and the light band. The dark band has a protein which is myosin protein, and the light band, it has actin protein. The dark band is also termed as A band or anisotrophic, and the light band is known as I band or isotropic. Now, the eye band is bisected by an elastic fiber called Z line. Okay, as you can see the diagram here. Okay, actin filament, which is thin filament, are firmly attached to the Z lines, right? Myosin filament, which is thick filament, in an A band are also held together in the middle of the T band by a thin fibrous membrane, which is M line. The portion between these two successive Z lines, right, as you can see in the diagram, right, these two successive Z lines is considered as what is functional, right, is considered as functional unit of the contraction, and is that is the reason it is known as what, sarcomere. Okay, right? So clear with the concept of structure of myofibril. It would be more clearer when you see the diagram and when you compare the diagram and the explanation together. Now we need to learn about the next muscle fibers, which are red muscle fibers and the white muscle fibers. Okay. Before we go with the detail about both the muscle fibers, let's have a comparison between both. The first one is red muscle fiber. Now, when I talk about the red muscle fiber, they have many mitochondria in it. Whereas a white muscle fiber, they have few mitochondria in it. Now, red muscle and white muscle, hence the name. Why? Because red muscle is already red in color, because there's the presence of high content of myoglobin. Okay. Now, the next that we can have a comparison point. They are slow and continuous contraction. They have rapid contractions. And the diameter of the red muscle fiber is small as compared to the white muscle fiber. Okay. So, the red color is due to what? The presence of the high content of myoglobin. Now, myoglobin are what? They are iron and oxygen binding protein found in the skeletal muscle. Okay. As we said, it contains many mitochondria. They show slow contraction. Right? Now, let's move ahead with the white muscle fiber here. The white muscle fiber, they are pale or whitish due to the presence of less content of the myoglobin. They have fewer mitochondria, and during strenuous exercise, lactic acid accumulates in large quantity, so the muscle fatigues here. Okay. Now, the last part of the concept is about the human skeleton, that we need to learn the names of all the human skeleton which we have in our body. We all know that we have 206 bones, right? Which is classified into two, which is axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. The axial has 80 bones and the appendicular has 126 bones. Now, if we have to segregate the 80 bones of our body, how is it segregated? As the skull, cranium, ear ossicle, hyoid. And vertebrae, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral and canthal. The sternum, the ribs. While the appendicular, that is 126 bones, they are classified as the girdles, the pectoral, that is the shoulder girdle, and the pelvic. Right? And then the limbs, which has 126 bones. Fine? When I talk about the forelimbs and the hind limbs, the forelimbs are humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges. While the hind limbs are femur, tibia, fibula, patella, tarsals, and digits. Okay, so this was all about the human skeleton. And when we have to talk about the joints, there are three types, that is fibrous joint, cartilaginous, and synovial joints. Now, when I have to segregate the synovial, it is ball and socket joint, hinge joint, pivoid joint, and gliding joint, and the last one saddle joint. So this was all about locomotion and movement. So kindly go through the concept nicely. Thank you so much.